She told me I was the dad, until I read her group chat that said, "He's rich. He'll never know." I canceled her OB appointment and sent everything to the real father. They say the worst betrayals are the ones you never see coming. Not because the signs weren't there, but because you never imagined that someone you loved could be capable of it. I've always been a private person, the kind who keeps emotions locked away behind walls built tall and thick. But after what I discovered last week, I can't hold it in anymore. Maybe it's the shock still lingering in my system, or maybe it's the sheer disbelief that something like this could happen to me. I'm a 32-year-old man with a stable career, a clean home, a clear conscience, and until very recently, I thought I was about to become a father. I thought I was building a future with a woman I could trust. I thought I was in love. I met Emily at a wine-tasting charity event in Austin almost 3 years ago. She was 29, captivating from the first smile, quick-witted, well-spoken, effortlessly graceful. The kind of woman who could navigate a crowded room with a glass of Cabernet in hand and leave every person she passed thinking they were the most interesting person she'd met that night. She had that rare, intoxicating energy that pulled you in. I wasn't looking for anyone at the time, but after 5 minutes with her, I found myself hoping we'd bump into each other again. She was finishing up her MBA and working as a part-time marketing consultant. I own a mid-sized logistics company, not a tech mogul or Wall Street tycoon, but I've done well for myself. Comfortable, secure, independent. On paper, we were a solid match. In practice, it felt even better. Things escalated quickly between us, in the way they do when all the signs point to meant to be. Within 10 months, she had moved into my home. We spent Sunday mornings wrapped up in each other, whispering about dreams of the future. By our second year, we'd already talked about marriage in a serious way. I had even designed a custom engagement ring for her, subtly gathering intel from her Pinterest boards and offhand comments about oval versus pear cuts. I wanted it to be a surprise, but of course she guessed. She always did. When I showed her the concept, she burst into tears. I thought they were happy tears. God, I really did. Then, 2 months ago, everything changed. She came home one night, eyes wide and hands trembling slightly, and told me she was pregnant. I was stunned, speechless for a moment that stretched into a minute. We talked about waiting until after marriage to start a family, and she had always insisted she was off birth control for medical reasons. We had been somewhat reckless a few times, I'll admit, but I never thought we were at risk. She said it must be fate, said that maybe it was just meant to happen this way. I wasn't overjoyed at first. Truthfully, the timing felt off, but I got there. I loved her. I told her we'd figure it out together like we always had. She smiled through tears, beaming, radiant. We started talking nursery colors, baby names, co-sleeping versus crib. She sent me links to cribs and strollers while I sat in boardroom meetings. My mother cried with joy when she found out. We scheduled her first OB/GYN appointment. I even rearranged a business trip so I could be there for the ultrasound. Then it all unraveled over something that, at first, seemed like nothing. It was a quiet Friday night. We were curled up on the couch, watching reruns of The Office, and she dozed off beside me. Her head rested lightly against my shoulder, her breathing soft and steady. I remember thinking, this is it. This is my family now. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. Normally, I wouldn't dream of touching it. I'm not a snooper. I value trust, and until that moment, I had no reason to doubt her. But something about the preview on the lock screen made my heart skip. It was from a group chat called Hot Girl Hive, and the message read, "Girl, don't forget to tell him it's his. He's rich. He'll never know." My stomach dropped. At first, I convinced myself that it was about someone else. Maybe one of her friends was dealing with their own drama. I even chuckled nervously, brushing the thought away. But then curiosity took over. Curiosity turned into suspicion. Suspicion morphed into full-blown dread. Her phone had no passcode. It must have been recently reset. My hands moved before my brain could stop them. I tapped the message, and my world began to shatter. The chat history was all there. Dozens of messages stretching back weeks. Emily had been sleeping with her ex, some guy named Derek. She wasn't even hiding it from her friends. They joked about it, laughed about it. The pregnancy hadn't been planned, but once it happened, they all agreed on the same thing. I was the better option. I was the paycheck. One message burned into my brain. He has money. Derek's broke and useless. You'd be dumb not to pin it on him. Another one said, just fake the OB dates. He's clueless. I felt physically ill. My vision blurred. My ears rang. Couldn't breathe. And there she was, sleeping soundly next to me. Peaceful. Innocent. Like nothing in her world had crumbled. Because it hadn't. Only mine had. I sat there paralyzed for what felt like hours. Every memory flooded in at once. The vacations we took together. The way she snuggled into me during thunderstorms. The time I held her while she sobbed over her father's cancer diagnosis. The woman I loved, my future wife, the mother of my supposed child, had been running a con. Not just lying. Not just cheating. Plotting. With an audience. For money. I didn't wake her. I took screenshots. Dozens of them. I sent them to myself and backed them up in multiple places. I opened her laptop, which was logged into her email, and found the OB appointment confirmation. I canceled it online. Then I installed a call blocker app and blocked the OB's number from her phone, just in case she tried to confirm it later and didn't notice the cancellation. I packed a small bag, blocked her on everything, social media, phone, email, and left. The next morning, I checked into a hotel on the outskirts of the city. I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours, sipping whiskey in silence. I replayed her laugh in my mind, her fake tears, her lies, her betrayal. The next day, I made 2 calls. First, to my lawyer. I needed legal advice immediately, how to protect myself, what I could do if she tried to pin the baby on me later. Second, to a private DNA testing service. I knew it was early, but I needed options. I needed to know what I was dealing with. That afternoon, I called her OB/GYN office pretending to be her fiancé. I asked if she had rescheduled her appointment. The nurse was polite but firm. They couldn't disclose that information. Fair enough. But when I asked if she had recently come in with someone named Derek, the nurse's tone shifted. I'm sorry, sir. I can't answer that, she said quickly and then hung up. It was all I needed to hear. Later that night, I messaged Derek. I'd found his Instagram public profile, full of shirtless selfies, crypto hashtags, and motivational quotes. I sent him a simple message. If you want to know whose baby she's really having, check out the group chat screenshots I'm about to send you. I sent him everything. Didn't expect a reply. 3 hours later, he responded. Bro, WTF. She told me you guys were done. I didn't know she was scamming you. Maybe he was lying. Maybe he was just that clueless. I didn't care. I wasn't about to bond with the man who was screwing my girlfriend behind my back. 2 days later, Emily showed up at my apartment. She must have begged the neighbor to buzz her in. I didn't open the door. I just watched through the peephole. She looked broken. Red eyes, hair in a bun, no makeup, voice shaking as she knocked. She cried, whispered my name, slid a note under the door. I didn't read it. I called my friend Chase, who's a cop, not to arrest her, just to document the situation. I needed a paper trail in case she tried to accuse me of abandonment or worse. That night, she sent a message that chilled me more than anything else had. I made a mistake. Panicked. I didn't mean to hurt you. Please just talk to me. 5 minutes later, another one came. You're not even going to take responsibility for this baby? Seriously, you're disgusting. There it was. The manipulation. The guilt trip. The act. I took a screenshot. 3 days later, I had my attorney send her an email. Cold. Clinical.
No emotion.
It said, all future communication must go through legal channels. I do not acknowledge paternity at this time and will be pursuing a court-ordered paternity test at birth. The screenshots were attached. Her lawyer, if she had one, needed to see them too. The next day, I received an email from an address I didn't recognize. It was her. She poured out her emotions in a carefully crafted paragraph that read more like a script than an apology. She said she had panicked, that she felt pressure from her friends, that she wasn't sure whose baby it was, but she thought I'd make a better father, that she hoped we could still raise the child together, regardless of what the test said. I didn't reply. 3 weeks passed. Then Derek messaged me. He wanted to meet. I agreed, public place, broad daylight. A diner downtown. He looked like hell, dark circles, nervous energy. He said she had told him I was abusive, controlling, that we were long over. I laughed out loud. She told me I was the dad, I said. We were planning the nursery. He shook his head. I believed her, man. She told me I was the dad too. Once she realized you weren't coming back. We agreed to do a paternity test after the baby was born. Independently. No warning. No cooperation from her. Just truth. Weeks turned into months. I moved to a different neighborhood. Changed my number. Told friends not to give her any information. She emailed a few times. Sometimes pleading, sometimes accusing. Then in early May, I got the email that said it all in just a few words. I gave birth. I didn't respond. A few days later, Derek followed up. He'd managed to do the cheek swab test during his first visit. The results came back. He was the father. 99.99% match. He sent me the lab PDF. Then added, I guess you were right to walk.
No apology. No emotion.
Just cold reality. I forwarded the results to my lawyer, along with one final message to Emily. You knew, and you still tried to play me. Lose my number permanently. That was 6 weeks ago. I haven't heard from her since. And sometimes, in the quiet moments, I still wonder how close I came to living a lie for the rest of my life. How easily I could have been trapped. Raising a child that wasn't mine, giving my heart and soul to a woman who saw me not as a partner, but as a paycheck. I didn't just dodge a bullet. I dodged a loaded gun with the safety off. And all because she forgot to lock her phone. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Sometimes life throws you into situations where the truth hits harder than anything else. I'm just grateful I found out before it was too late. If the story hit you like it hit me, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? I'll see you in the next story.